Something wrong? You're not laughing at me, are you? No, oh, that's fine. Yeah, carry on. Right, okay. Right, okay. So number 5 to 11. Am I doing them? Or were they okay? Anyone want to answer me? Anyone need me to do number 5? Anyone need me to do number 6? 7? 8? 9? 9, yeah. Okay. So 10 of A is 1 over root 3. Sorry, 10 of A equals 1 over root 3. Find two values for cos A. So you have to find two values for cos A, right? So two values for cos A. So normally we have to get two values of A, but you have to get two answers and then just get cos of your answers. So we get two values of cos A. So we get A first and then we'll get cos A, right? If A is between 0 and 360, that just means you need your unit circle. So 6 and the city, right? Okay, so we have 10. 10 is positive. So you have, everything is positive in here, so there's an answer in here. And 10 is also positive in here, so there's an answer in there. So there's going to get me my two A values. So you go to your calculator and you do shift and 10 of 1 over root 3. Root 3, and that will tell me that the angle A is equal to 1 over root 3 with not like the sorry, 1 over root 3, 10, 30 degrees. Did we get that? Yeah. Right, okay. So then you ask yourself, is that an answer? That's in the first quadrant. I need an answer in the first quadrant. So yes, that's an answer. I also need an answer in the third quadrant. So to get an answer in the third quadrant, I add to 180. So 180 add 30 gives me 210. Agreed? Is that okay? And then, but they didn't ask me to get A, they asked me to get cos of A. So what I have to do is I have to get cos of 30 on the calculator, and I have to get cos of 210. Again, you can do it on the calculator, right? And it'll tell you the plus or the minus. So when you get cos of 30, you end up with root 3 over 2. Yeah? And when you get cos of 210, you'll get minus root 3 over 2. Are we good with that? So there was just an extra step, right? Normally, we just had to get the angle and we were done, but this time they asked me to get the cos of the angle. Right, are we good? Right, number 10, anyone? Number 11? Yeah, okay. So number 11 is find A correct to the nearest degree. So sine A is minus 4/5 and sine A and cos A is minus 3/5. So there's actually only one answer here, right? Okay, so basically you need your unit circle. So you need 6 and the city. Okay, so sine is negative, right? Okay, sine is negative and cos is also negative. So you're looking for one for a quadrant where sine is negative, right? So sine is negative in here and in here. Would you agree? Sine is negative in here and in here, right? Why is it negative? These are, it tells you, did you watch any of the videos? Yeah, I've watched them. You haven't watched them yet? No. That's why you haven't a clue what's going on. So will you go watch the videos and come back to me? Okay, it's about 3 classes ago I started teaching this, so I can't teach you 3 classes, right? Okay, so negative, right? Okay, so sine is negative in here and in here, but cos is negative in here, isn't it? But it's not negative in here, so I only have one answer for this. It's in there. Okay? Is that alright? So basically you need a place where sine is negative, cos is negative. Here, they're both positive. Here, sine is positive. Here, they're both negative, because the only one that's positive is 10. And here, cos is positive, so it can't be in there. So the only possible quadrant that could be an answer in is the third quadrant there. Is that okay? So then you do shift and sine and 4/5, okay, and equals. Or you could do shift cos 3/5. It doesn't matter, you're going to get the same angle, right? Okay, so you could do shift sine 4/5, shift cos 3/5. Remember, when you're looking for the size of the angle, ignore the minus sign, right? Okay, because the minus sign on the calculator messes you up, and you just want the reference angle. Okay, so does anyone and I want to find the value of this number 11, sorry, correct to the nearest whole number. Does anyone have a number for me? Did anyone do shift sine 4/5 and get an angle and round it up to the nearest whole number? Say that again. 53 degrees. I'll accept that as the answer, because no one's telling me different. Okay, that's not an answer though, because that's in the first quadrant. I want an answer in the third quadrant, so I added to 180. So 180 add 53 is 233 degrees. Is that okay? That's your answer. Are we good? That was the last one. Right, okay. So I'm going to just sum up, right, what we've done in the chapter, and we're going to do some of the test yourselves questions. Right, okay. I'm not giving you a test on trigonometry because it's too near the pre, right, okay, to be wasting a day on a test. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to do some of the test yourselves questions, and then I'm going to give you some exam questions to do over the weekend, and then we'll have a look at those on Monday. Is that okay in the double? Right, and in the meantime I'll probably have moved on to the next chapter, because we've 3 chapters left. It'd be great to get it finished before the pre. Okay? Is that alright? Okay. So just a quick summary. You don't need to write, you just need to listen, because all this is already down in your notes. Right. So we have, yes.
Can we get back to Joe's book? There was example questions when you provided them. I can't remember what chapter it was on. You did it instead of a test. Did we get that back?
Probably, and if you did I give it back? Yeah, yours is probably in a pile here somewhere, so if you leave it, I won't start rooting now, but if you leave it with me, I'll root out the ones that didn't get back. Okay, right. In trigonometry, girls, you have a set of rules for right angle triangles, right, and you have a different set of rules for non-right angle triangles. Okay, so non-right angle triangles. There, I'll just draw a triangles. Is that okay? Right, okay. So if you have a right angle triangle, remember you label your triangle as, if we say this is the angle we're talking about, this is the hypotenuse, this is the opposite, this is the adjacent, right? Okay, and then you use SOHCAHTOA. Remember that? So sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, cos is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, tan is equal to opposite over adjacent. Remember that? Okay. And if you want to get the area of a right angle triangle, girls, it's equal to half multiplied by the base multiplied by the height. And the base is this line here, and the height is this line here. Okay, so I won't call it h, I'll actually write in height so it's not confused with hypotenuse, and this is the base here. Okay, is that right? Good with that? Right. Okay, if you have a non-right angle triangle, you label capital A and small a is opposite it. Capital B and small b is opposite it. Capital C and small c is opposite it. Is that okay? Right. Sorry. I feel magnified, is it? No. Just, it's a bit early to be moving towards the door. Yeah. Okay, right. And if you have that, girls, you either use the sine rule or the cosine rule. So the sine rule is a over sine A equals b over sine B equals c over sine C. Now you would never use all three, you pick two. So you pick the A's with the B's, or the A's with the C's, or the B's with the C's. Do you know what I mean? You'd never do three, right? Because that's not helpful. Right? Okay? Is that alright? Or you can use the cosine rule, right? And both of these are in the log table, so you don't need to remember how to write them out. Okay? You just how to use them. So a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. And as I say, it's in the log table, so you don't need to remember it. You just need to remember how to use it. Okay? Right? Is that okay? Now, the sine rule is the easiest one to use. You can use either, right? Okay? The sine rule is the easiest one to use. But there's two places where you haven't enough information to use the sine rule. What are the two places where you have to use the cosine rule? When you know when they tell you the three sides and they ask you for an angle. So they tell you A is 5, B is 6 and C is 7, something like that. Where they give you the three sides and they ask you to find an angle. So they've given you no angle, right? In that case, you have to use the cosine rule. And the second case where you haven't enough information to use the sine rule is if they give you two sides and the included angle. So for example, if they told me what B measured, what C measured, and what capital A measured, right? You haven't enough information for the sine rule, so you have to use the cosine rule. Okay? So is that alright? And the second thing we have is for a non-right angle triangle, we have a lovely formula to get the area. It's a half AB sine C. So it's the length of the line A multiplied by the length of the line B multiplied by sine of the included angle multiplied by a half will get you the area. Is that okay? Don't forget that formula. People forget it all the time, and it's just a formula you need to fill in. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start the revision questions. Okay, and as things crop up and we realise we can't do them, then we'll sort it out. Okay? Or maybe you won't. You'll know how to do everything. Okay? So between now and tomorrow, what time is it? We're going to do page 556. Let's do 1 to 15 minutes. So 1 to 8. Okay, so between now and tomorrow, page 556, 1 to 8. Do you want the picture up? Yeah. Okay. Sixtures. Yeah. I I just sent L. Don't worry about that. That's a typo.